You're dating someone and things are going great and it's off to a fantastic start. But then you start to see some red flags and you begin to wonder, am I dating a narcissist? What does that even mean? What signs should you look for? Is there a difference between someone with narcissistic personality disorder and someone who just has some narcissistic tendencies? And how do those things manifest differently in a relationship? Can they actually be in a successful relationship? And what do you do if you think you're in a relationship with a narcissist? That's what we're covering in today's video. Hi, I'm Jeff Campbell from DivorcedParentsClub.com, and I'm glad you're here with me. So there's a lot to unpack in today's video, but let's start with the actual signs that you might be dating a narcissist. Now, it's important to point out, though, that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I am not qualified to diagnose anybody, and chances are neither are you. So this video is purely for informational purposes. And if you feel like you need professional help or guidance, you should seek out a qualified professional in your area. But one of the first things that you might notice is that they lack empathy. That's different than being an empath, where they're in touch with other people's energy. Empathy, though, means that they empathize with other people. They can put themselves in their shoes and feel what they're feeling, and they are sensitive to how their actions affect other people. Someone who is a narcissist won't feel that way at all. They will be completely out of touch with how their actions affect others. They may be able to read their energy, but it's almost in an indifferent sort of way. They really don't care about how their actions affect you. Next is you'll see a sense of entitlement. They think that the rules don't apply to them. They think that they are better than everyone else and that they're entitled to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with whomever they want. And they really don't care if that violates your boundaries or whatever rules you guys have put into place for your relationship. Next is they need to be the center of attention. They like that attention and validation from other people, and they crave it. They have to have it, and that could take the form of something inappropriate. It's no surprise that the narcissist also is going to display arrogant tendencies. Again, they have a huge ego. They think they're better than everyone else, and they think the rules don't apply to them. So arrogance goes hand in hand with that. The next one is that they take advantage of other people. Again, they think the rules don't apply to them. So taking advantage of a situation or a person really is no big deal to them. Another one is that they actually might talk about their fantasies of power and control and what they might do if they had more power and control. They think they are special and that they are different and that they are superior in many ways. And this goes hand in hand with some of the other things that I've already said, but you may very well be seeing that. And the last one is that they might be envious of other people who have achieved more than they have achieved, or they might want people to be envious of them. And with all of these signs and some of the signs that I'm going to get into a little bit later in the video, you won't necessarily see every single one of these signs with every single person who is a narcissist. And again, there is a distinction between someone with narcissistic tendencies and someone with full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. And we're going to get into that next. So in order to be fully diagnosed, and again, by a professional, not by a YouTuber and not by you probably, unless you are a professional, but unless a professional has diagnosed someone, there's really no way to be certain that they have narcissistic personality disorder. However, there are some strict criteria laid out in a book called the DSM-5, which outlines exactly how to diagnose a person with narcissistic personality disorder. And in order to be diagnosed, they have to display at least 5 of the following 9 symptoms that I'm about to get into. And not only that, they have to display them consistently over a wide variety of behaviors and activities and interactions for at least 6 months in order to be classified with narcissistic personality disorder. So what are those 9 signs? And again, they only need to meet 5 of these 9. So what are they? Let's look at them. The first one is grandiosity, or a sense of importance, self-importance. They feel that they are more important than anyone else. The next is they have to have fantasies, active fantasies about power and success. Next is a sense of entitlement. And again, some of these are going to mirror the signs that I mentioned in the previous section, but these are actually what's in the DSM-5. Limited insight is another one. And I actually had to look that up to see exactly what they mean by limited insight. And limited insight essentially means that they lack the ability to look within and see what's going on inside their head. They may have all kinds of grand ideas about things, but they actually lack the ability to kind of self-assess and self-regulate. Next is they need a constant stream of attention and validation from other people. They crave it and they can't stand to be without it. They use manipulation tactics to take advantage of other people. We talked earlier about empathy, or a lack thereof, and that is definitely one of the 9 traits of narcissistic personality disorder, is having a lack of empathy for others. And again, that's different than being an empath, where you are picking up on other people's energy, but a narcissist picks up on their energy and probably uses it to their advantage against the other person. But they really lack empathy, which is the ability to put ourselves in the shoes of someone else and feel what they are feeling, especially with regards to what we are doing. How are we making other people feel? And does that give us cause for concern? With a narcissist, they really don't care how their actions affect you. Competitiveness, distrust, and jealousy is the 8th sign. And the last one is scorn of others and arrogance towards others. So they look down on other people. They think they are superior to other people, and they really just completely lack the ability to self-assess and realize that maybe they are superior in some ways, but they're highly flawed in others, and they just aren't able to see that. So those are the 9 traits that someone has to have at least 5 of in order to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. And again, that's over a 6-month period in a variety of situations, and again, diagnosed by a professional. But someone could easily have narcissistic traits or tendencies, but I would argue that all of us have those in small degrees. The difference is we don't display them on a consistent basis. Those things don't permeate our lives every single day in every single situation. With a narcissist who has narcissistic personality disorder, they can't help but display a lot of those characteristics in every interaction throughout every single day. Someone who has narcissistic tendencies, they may just show up every once in a while, but they aren't that way consistently. Another question that comes up is, do narcissists know that they are narcissists? And I'm going to give a brief example here. A woman that I have dated claims to be a narcissist. Now, I don't think she has narcissistic personality disorder. I don't think she thinks that either. But it did beg the question, okay, well, if she's telling that to me, does that mean that she is a narcissist or isn't? And the reality of it is, especially if we're talking about narcissistic personality disorder, if I could say that correctly, I feel like I'm not saying that correctly. I'm just going to say NPD. But someone with NPD, in most cases, does not know that they have NPD. And if they do, they're definitely not going to tell other people that. So if you have someone in your life who claims to be a narcissist or claims to have narcissistic tendencies, that's actually a really good sign that they don't have NPD. So what do you do if you are dating someone that you think has NPD, or at least strong narcissistic tendencies? The first is to set and maintain healthy boundaries. I did a video recently where I discussed the differences between setting boundaries and giving ultimatums, or kind of being a hard line, hard ass, no compromise. And there is a key difference, even if the end results sometimes look very, very similar. So if that's the boat that you're in and you're unclear about how to set healthy boundaries, I want you to watch this video right up here that's popping up in the corner, because I break down exactly what the differences are, and I give you some real life examples to better illustrate that. Then I want you to maintain a strong support system. Don't put all your eggs in their basket. Have some friends that you do activities with outside of your relationship. Go see family, go do activities. Keep yourself busy so that everything you do isn't wrapped up in this other person. Don't blame yourself. It's easy to blame yourself, especially if they are manipulating you, if they're gaslighting you. You begin to doubt yourself. You do begin to kind of go crazy, and it's easy to blame yourself in the throes of a narcissistic relationship. So make sure you don't do that. Keep a clear head, keep a clear perspective, and don't let them gaslight you. And then the last one is know when to leave. The strongest negotiating position is the ability to walk away and mean it. Now, I don't want you to do that in a cavalier way. I don't want you to stonewall or give the silent treatment. If you walk away, you've got to mean it, and you've got to stick to your guns and never look back. So don't do that except in a last resort, when you've tried every measure to make this relationship work, and it's just not going to work, and it's never going to work, and that's clear to you now, then don't be afraid to walk away. Just don't look back. Real quick before we keep going, if you like this video, hit that like button for me. It sends a great signal to YouTube's algorithm. Then they're going to show this video to more and more people, helps me grow my channel, and it's a great way to say thank you to me for taking the time to make these videos. So what happens if you are dating a narcissist? Unfortunately, the reality of it is you are going to experience low self-esteem. It is going to be damaging to your psyche. You're going to feel a loss of identity. You're going to be gaslighted by them. Or is it gaslit? I don't know. You're going to really begin to doubt yourself. You're going to feel insecure. Your confidence is going to go away. And you're going to kind of be on pins and needles around them. And you're going to be kind of on pins and needles when you're not around them, waiting to hear from them. Your anxiety is going to go through the roof. And you may find that the activities that brought you joy, you're not doing as often. You're not hanging out with friends and family as much as you used to, as much as you would like to, and you're living more and more and more in isolation, and it's just kind of a downward spiral. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation if you are dating someone with NPD or with really strong narcissistic tendencies. Of course, people always want to know, can a narcissist actually love another person? Now, there's an important distinction between someone with full-blown NPD and someone who has narcissistic tendencies. Personally, I don't think someone with NPD can really love another person at all, but someone with narcissistic tendencies definitely can. But there's a caveat. Their love tends to be a little on the superficial side. Now, again, it also depends on how full-blown their narcissistic tendencies are. If it's just a little bit, and it's just occasionally, then they're going to be able to have a normal relationship just like anybody else. We all bring a little bit of damage and baggage to the table. That's just the reality of the situation. But if you've got someone with strong narcissistic tendencies or full-blown NPD, their ability to love is going to be very superficial, very fleeting. They may think that they're in love, but it's not going to be the same kind of love that you feel. They do develop intense emotional attachments to other people, and it can feel very real to them and very exciting and very dramatic. And they may very much feel like they are falling in love. But again, they lack empathy. They completely lack the ability to put themselves into your shoes and experience what you're experiencing and recognize how their actions are affecting you. They completely lack the ability to do that. And that is really crucial for real love to develop and grow in a healthy way. So having said that, can a relationship with a narcissist work? The short answer is yes, it can. It is going to take some compromise from you and some action on their part. So let's talk about what that looks like. So first and foremost, they actually have to recognize that they have these tendencies. And then they need to actually do something to work on it. That could be seeing a therapist. It could even be taking medication with their doctor's approval. But it has to be that they recognize it and they're taking action to try and combat it, to try and make it better. They're never likely going to get rid of their narcissistic tendencies. It could be something genetic or it could be environmental from their childhood. Something created this pattern in them and it's not likely to go away, but they can manage it. They can minimize it, and they can learn to recognize some of their destructive patterns and maybe kind of catch themselves in the middle of one before it completely derails their relationship. So they can actually maintain a relationship, but they have to be willing to do those things. And then you, as the person on the receiving end, you actually have to be willing to compromise here. You have to recognize that this is who they are and they can become a better version of themselves, but these tendencies aren't going to go away. So you have to maintain confidence and self-esteem, and you have to have systems in place that help you maintain those things in you because you don't want to let those go. You don't want to ever really argue with a narcissist. It's a no-win scenario. It's just not going to work. You can acknowledge what they're saying. They do want to know that you're hearing them, but you don't ever want to just argue your points. You do want to let them know if they've hurt your feelings. You do want to set healthy boundaries, but try and avoid full-blown arguments because that's a no-win scenario. But have a support system that helps you maintain your self-esteem, your confidence, your swagger, and have healthy boundaries in place that, If they cross those boundaries, there are these consequences over here. Now, I will say that there is a difference between dating someone who is emotionally unavailable and someone who is a narcissist, even though they will have some similarities showing up in how they interact with you. But if you are dating someone and maybe they don't have full-blown NPD, maybe they are showing signs of being emotionally unavailable, and you're not sure if you can make that situation work for you. If that's the case, if that sounds familiar, or maybe you're curious about it, I want you to watch this video right up here on my channel, where I dive deep into emotionally unavailable women in particular, but the same things could apply to men as well. And I walk you through exactly what to do if you're in that situation to make the relationship work. Anyway, for now, I'll see you in the next video.